So, the section that I was directed to do tonight is called The Fear of Redemption. So, and I am going to be coming out of the original edition tonight. So, that means you guys are going to need to find it in the table of contents, and I'm going to help you.
What section or what chapter?
In mine, it is chapter 13. In yours,
Chapter 13 also, page 242.
thank you.
242.
Anybody like a book to follow along with?
222.
Anybody? Okay. There are extra books on the piano if you need one. Okay. So what page is it in your book?
242.
Okay, 242. Chapter 13 also?
When you say the original
No.
text,
What chapter is it in for you?
Chapter 13, section 3.
I am using the original edition. So this is the version that did not receive the editing that version has.
Is it the UR text? Is it the same?
This is what they call the Hewlin-Casey version.
Okay.
So before it was edited by Wapnick and Shuckman, they gave this copy to Hewlin-Casey, Edgar Casey's son, and then he put it in the Edgar Casey Library in Virginia. After Wapnick lost the copyright on that edition, this edition came out. So,
What page again?
and what page is it?
242.
242. Okay, so because I have a version that might be have some different words, so if you hear me saying something different, you can either go, hey, is that a difference? Or just know that I'm coming from a different version. Also, I want you to know that all the words in this course are synonyms for two terms, okay? They're all synonyms for love or fear. And then it just goes back and forth using these different words for love and fear. So instead of fear, you may hear attack, or you may hear anger, or you may hear separateness, or you may hear the separation. So the course is always just telling you the same thing in many different ways. So a lot of times when I'm reading, I will substitute terms so that it reads easier and so that you get a slightly different or deeper interpretation of what it says. So just know, if you hear me using a term you don't see in your book, just know I'm using a synonym that the course itself gives. And the only reason I'm doing that is so that we have a deeper experience of what it's saying. Okay? If it gets confusing, raise your hand and ask me for clarification. And if not, just know that if you read along with me and you hear a different word, you're actually getting a deeper understanding of that word. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so this section is a really deep section. And it's one of those sections that can be very startling and very hard to believe. All right? So if you notice yourself having resistance to what you're hearing, then just know that that's good. That means you actually heard. Okay? If you have no resistance and it doesn't seem startling, there's a good chance you didn't hear what I said. All right? So, and what the course does in this section is that it really does reveal the nature of our ego, and it really reveals the real nature of our problem and the real nature of our fear. So we think we're afraid of one thing, and we're pretty convinced we're afraid of what we think we're afraid of. And in this section, he goes on to say, let me tell you what you're really afraid of. Okay? So we think we understand the deeper motivations of our psyches, but we don't. But we don't. Or else we'd be blissed out and we would have no feelings of uncertainty or self-doubt. We would understand all of why we do what we do. We would understand why other people do what they do. But that is not the case, is it? I don't know why I do what I do. It doesn't make any sense to me most of the time. And I certainly don't understand what motivates most other people either. And what that tells us is that we think we know the nature of our psyches. We think we know what we're thinking about. We think we know what motivates us. We think we know what we want. And for other people too, but we don't. And that's why this section is startling, because it just lays it out. Okay? All right. So, he says, fear redemption. And P.S. redemption means love. What is redemption? Redemption is just where my perceptions have been corrected, where my perceptions have been washed. They've been washed. They've been cleansed of fear and misperception. And my perceptions have been cleansed of fear. Okay? That's what redemption means. I've been redeemed. What does that mean? It means my perception has been corrected. I was seeing something that made me angry and afraid and guilty, and now I am seeing something else. Okay? That is redemption. It's the correction of your perception from fear and guilt to love. All right? And so this is the fear of that. Right? Now, how many of us have an awareness that we're afraid of that? Very few. Oh, I only want love. I only want truth. I don't walk around with an awareness that I'm afraid of truth. I'm afraid of love. Okay? Fear of redemption. You may wonder why it is so crucial that you look upon your hatred and realize its full extent. That's right, I do wonder that. Mm-hmm. I don't even know I have hatred. I just thought I have correct perception. That's not hatred, that's just correct perception. He's saying, you may wonder why it is not only important, but crucial for you to look at your hatred. And not only just look at it, oh my God, I have hatred, but to realize what? Its full extent, just how much hatred I have, just how deep my hatred goes, right? Who wants to do that? Nobody, right? He says, it's crucial that you do it. It's crucial that you look at that. It's crucial that you look at your own hatred. Hatred of yourself, hatred of others. It is important. It's not being negative, right? It's crucial and it's important. Okay, now he's going to tell us why. He says, you may also think it would just be easy enough for the Holy Spirit to just show you your hatred and then just dispel it without the need for you to raise your hatred to awareness yourself. That's right. Why can't you just look at it yourself, Holy Spirit, and get rid of it for me? I don't want to look at my hatred. Besides, I don't have hatred. I'm a nice person. I don't have hatred. I'm a nice person, right? He's saying that maybe you think it would be easier for the Holy Spirit to do it for you where you don't have to look at it yourself. He says, yet there is one more complication which you have interposed between yourself and the atonement. Now, does it say that in your book, the complication word?
Obstacle.
Thank you. In your book, it says there's one more obstacle which you have interposed between yourself and the atonement, which you do not yet realize. Mine says there's one more complication which you have interposed between yourself and the atonement. What's the atonement? The undoing of your hatred. That's what the atonement is. The atonement is a plan by which your hatred is undone, like the Course in Miracles, is one version of the atonement. And he says there's a complication between you and the correction of your hatred that you don't yet realize. What is that? The complication is that we've said that no one will countenance, which means make friends of fear, if they recognize their fear. If you recognized your fear, you wouldn't make friends with it. You wouldn't protect it, right? But in your disordered state, you're not afraid of fear. In your disordered state, you're not afraid of your attack. In your disordered state, you're not afraid of your hatred. for yourself or others. You don't like that hatred, it's unpleasant, but it's not your desire to attack which really frightens you. In other words, it's not your hatred that frightens you. We don't go, oh my God, I felt hate today. I feel so disturbed. I felt hate today, oh my God. I'm disturbed, I have hate. That's not what we say to ourselves. I don't have people call me up going, I need to come see you. I have so much hatred, right? It says, in your disordered state, you don't like your hatred, but it's not your desire to attack which really frightens you. You're not seriously disturbed by your hostility. It's not your hostility that you think is the problem, right? You keep your hostility hidden because you are more afraid of what your hostility covers. Okay, so I hide that I have hate. I hide that I have attack thoughts going through my mind all the time. I hide that, right? Because I'm a nice person. For some reason, I hide my hostility. Does anybody else try to hide their hostility besides me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't normally talk about my attack thoughts, my hostility, right? Now, I talk about other people, but not my hostility. So he says, you're hiding your hostility, you're hiding your hatred, you're hiding your attack thoughts, not because you're afraid of your hostile thoughts, but why? Because you are more afraid of what your hostility covers. Aha, how interesting. Okay, so first of all, he's saying that I have hatred and hostility that I don't want to look at and I don't want to acknowledge, right? But that I'm not really upset that I have hostile thoughts. I'm not like, oh my God, I'm full of hostile thoughts. What in the world is going on? I need to have a correction. I need some help. I have hostile thoughts. That's not what upsets me. That's not what I'm thinking about. I am more afraid of what my hostility, my anger, my attack, my hatred is covering. Who knew that my hostility was really a cover? Interesting. Hostility, hatred is a cover. Wow. So my anger and my hatred, whatever form it takes, is a cover. It's a ruse. Wow. Doesn't seem like that, does it? It seems like I'm perceiving correctly. That's why I'm angry. I'm perceiving correctly. That's why I'm hostile. I'm perceiving correctly. That's why I hate myself. We don't realize that it's a cover. All right? Okay. He says, you could look even upon your ego's darkest cornerstone without fear if you didn't believe that without your ego you would find within yourself something you fear even more than your ego. Wow. So, okay, so you're telling me that I could look even at the darkest cornerstone of my ego, which is what? What is the darkest cornerstone of my ego? What's the main thing my ego is trying to hide? Well, according to the Course, the main thing that my ego is trying to keep from my awareness is that it wants to kill me. Oh, that's right, you're right. That is keeping that from my awareness, right? So the ego, the Course says that the ego always reserves the death penalty for you as its final expression of its feelings for you. Wow. Now he says, you could look even on the part of yourself that wants to do you in. If that part of you wasn't hiding something that you were even more afraid of. Wow. Wait a minute, more afraid of something within me that wants to kill me? More afraid of something like that? Wow. That's hard to believe, isn't it? Is this startling? Is this hard to believe? Okay, all right. He says, you would look even upon a part of you that wants to kill you if you weren't afraid, if you weren't aware, if you weren't more afraid of what that covered. Okay, so I wonder what that is. He says, He says, you are not afraid of crucifixion, which means you're not afraid of the part of you that wants to kill you. He says, your real terror is of redemption. Okay? My real terror is what? It's not that hostile part of me. It's love. My real terror is of the love that the hostility within me covers. I'm not really afraid of my hostile thoughts. I'm not really afraid of my anger. I'm not really afraid of my anger or hostility toward others. I'm not even really afraid of that part of me that hates myself and thinks I deserve to die. I'm really afraid of what that part of me covers, which is love. Wow, that's hard to believe, isn't it? Sure doesn't seem like that's what's going on in there, is it? Doesn't seem like that's what's happening within me. Okay? All right. He says, your real terror is of redemption. He calls it terror. Terror. My real terror, what I'm terrified of, is the love that's underneath my hatred. Wow. And he says, under your ego's dark foundation is the memory of God. And it is of the memory of God that you are really afraid. Why is that? Why is it that the memory of God is what I'm really afraid of? Well, because that memory would instantly restore you to your proper place. And it is this proper place that you have sought to leave. How interesting. My proper place. I wonder where that is. My proper place. My proper place that I've been trying to leave, right? And that's, he says, that memory of God would restore me instantly to my proper place, which I have been trying to leave. Wow. Okay. Should we read more?
Yeah.
Should we read more of what we don't believe and don't accept? That's what I love about this curriculum. It tells me things I don't believe, don't accept, and totally resist. But my life gets better because of it. I don't understand it. It startles me. I resist it. I'm afraid of it. And yet my life gets better every time I even allow it to come just close to me. I'm just like, okay, and my life gets better and better and better. Just even by letting it come a little close. Well, I mean, like holding my nose. Ooh. And my life gets better. And he says, your fear of attack, your fear of your attack is nothing compared to your fear of love. Oh, really? That isn't what we walk around thinking we're afraid of, is it? I think I'm afraid of other people's hostility. I think I'm afraid of my own ego. I think I'm afraid of the world. I think I'm afraid of money and relationships and people. I don't realize my real fear is of love. And he says, you would be willing to look upon even your savage wish to kill God's Son, which is you and others, if you didn't believe that this wish to kill saves you from love. Wow. First of all, that's pretty startling to hear anything say I have a savage wish to kill. What? Not me. I'm a nice person. I do not have a savage wish to kill. Well, maybe myself, but, you know. Okay, so he's saying you would be able to look upon even your savage wish to kill if you didn't think that death wish that we obviously all have. Is everybody aware of the death wish that some part of you has?
Yes.
Okay. That is the part of you that has you making choices that seem to endanger your peace, your health, your aliveness, etc., and others.
It's a pretty big part.
Okay, everybody aware of that part of them. So now when we talk about having a death wish, we know what we're talking about. You know, you're like, why did I make that choice to do that substance? Why did I make that choice to go do that at that time? That thing that endangered my peace or my safety. There's a death wish in there. There's a wish to kill within us. I know, I hate it that he says that, but he says that. A savage wish to kill. Now, this savage wish to kill is within each of us, and it's the part of us that believes we deserve to die. It's the part of us that believes we deserve to die, okay? But it's remember he says it's hidden, it's buried, it's hidden, it's buried. And the only way we know it's there is because we see what it leads us to choose. We see what it leads us to do. It leads us to endanger our peace and endanger our actual physical health, right? So he's saying that we could look at that and go, yeah, well, obviously I got a part of me that has a savage wish to kill me. Sure, I'd be willing to look at that. No problem. No problem. Yeah, sure, I got it. I know I do. I don't want to look at it because I'm not afraid of that. I'm afraid of what it's hiding. Wow. Isn't that deep? Now we're getting way down deep into the deeper layers of the psyche and our psychological motivations for our actions that have mystified us for so long. Okay? So if you don't know about the savage wish that some part of you has, if you don't know about that within you, then you haven't made it down into the deeper layers of your psyche yet. Okay? This will take you there. Thanks a lot, Force. This is why these rooms generally are filled to capacity, and this is why we have a resistance to the course. Okay? I don't look at that. Not because I don't want to see that I have a wish to kill within me, but because I'm afraid of what that covers within me. Wow. It's interesting. So, he says, the reason that I believe, let me go back and see the sentence. You would be willing to look upon even your savage wish to kill God's son, that's you and everybody else, if you didn't believe that savage wish to kill saves you from love. Wow. I have a desire to be saved from love. Please save me from love. Please save me from love. Isn't that crazy? Wow. The Course in Miracles really reveals our insanity. I have a wish to be saved from love. Why? He says, this wish to be saved from love, guess what? That's what caused the separation. Oh, that's how that happened. You know that detour into fear we took? We were in heaven, where we knew we were connected to everything. We knew we were complete and healed and whole. And the idea that we could be missing something or needing something, or that we could die or lose what we love, that would have been a joke. Okay? We were in that state of mind. We were in that awareness. And we had a desire to be saved from that. Wow. Just like when I'm having a really peaceful day, I recognize a part of me that wishes to be saved from that. I would like to be saved from peace. Okay? The wish to be saved from love is what caused the detour into fear. It's what caused the separation. It's what caused us to leave home. Wow, that's how it happened. All right? And he says, and you have protected the separation. You've protected your ego because you don't want the separation healed. Which means you realize that by removing the dark cloud that obscures it, your love for your Father would impel you to answer your Father's call and leap into heaven. Wow. Wait, why is it that I want to be saved from love? Why is it that I protect my hostility? Why is it that I protect that part of me that wants to kill me with bad choices? I protect it because I don't want the separation between me and God healed. I don't want to have a big old gulf between me and God. I want that. Why? Because without that, without the ego, what does he say? That my love for God would impel me to hear God saying, I love you, and I would leap into heaven. That's why I protect my hostility. That's why I hide my hostility. That's why I hide my hatred for others, and that's why I hide my hatred for myself. And I pretend, no, I don't have that. That's why I hide it. I'm afraid of hearing and feeling my Creator's love for me and running and leaping into heaven. Wow. Who knew? That's funny. It's not what I saw. That's not how I would have characterized my issue before I walked in here tonight. I truly could have sworn it was someone else.
So this is kind of the ultimate healing. I mean, if we would do that, hear that call, it kind of ruins our whole little trip here, doesn't it?
Sure does.
I mean, it's just over. And we did come here to do this trip. So
That's
until
right.
you're really totally done with it, that's kind of what we're saving till last, isn't it?
That's exactly right. Exactly. That's my last ditch effort, to stay away from God. Right. Wow. Now, he says, you believe that attack is salvation. I believe that attack is protection. I believe that attack is protection to prevent me from that. Right? That's why I feel like I need attack. I need my anger. I need it. Because it protects me. And it prevents me from hearing God's call, feeling his love, and leaping into heaven. That's why I think my anger is protection. Anybody relate to that? That feeling that my anger is my protection?
Yes.
I feel like my anger is protection.
Where is heaven?
Heaven is an experience of no lack. Okay? And also, heaven is an experience of union with God, where I know I'm one with God. And because I'm one with God, I am one with everything. And because I'm one with God, I have everything. So the experience of heaven, the Course says, is an experience of complete fulfillment. Hey man, I got it all. I am it all. I don't have to worry about missing anything or losing anything or anything I love dying. I don't have to worry about me dying, and I don't have to worry about anything ending. Can you imagine that kind of state of mind? I can't. I'd like to. I'd like to try. I really would. I'd like to move a little closer to that state of mind where I know that I am one with the source of everything. And I always will be, and I always have been. And because of that, I have nothing to fear. And I have nothing to fear because there's nothing but that. Nothing to lose, nothing that can die, nothing that I'm missing, nothing that I'm lacking. Whoo-wee. Wow. Don't have to be worried about losing what I love. That's heaven.
Wow.
Does that answer that question? Okay. Now, so when we say we're afraid of God, that's what we're talking about. I'm afraid of that state of mind. I'm afraid of living in that. That's where I was. And then I had a crazy, insane wish to be saved from that. The Course says that we were in this state of mind, no lack, no loss, no death, no separateness, no worries. And then a crazy idea crossed our mind at which we forgot to laugh. That's the one. The crazy idea that went through our mind that we forgot to laugh at. The Course actually says that. The separation is a crazy idea that crossed your mind while you were in complete fulfillment. that lack could be real and that you'd want it, and you didn't laugh at it. And then it became a serious idea. And then a whole world formed around that insane idea that we forgot to laugh at. Wow. That's the story of the separation according to the Course in Miracles. Wow. But it happened so long ago that we have no memory of it. Now, the Course says, if you wanted to return back into the mind of God where the idea of loss is a joke, then little by little it would make more sense why in the world you wanted to be saved from that. Okay? So you don't come to an understanding of why you would want to be saved from that until you're like, I don't want to be saved from that anymore. I want to experience union with the mind of God so that I can experience myself as complete, no lack, no loss possible. And then you see how it could be. All right. Shall we go on?
And you mentioned, of course, in all these synonyms, and they tell us we have this thing when we experience fear, fight or flight. So like when fear comes, flight would be like when I'm anxious and things like that, just scared.
That's right.
But the fight part would be like anger and hate. That's fear and attack.
That's right. Exactly.
So that's just the two sides, but it's still the same thing. So whether I say I'm afraid or I'm anxious or I'm angry or I'm hating, that's all a manifestation of the same thing.
It's all a synonym. It's all a synonym from I'm afraid of love.
I think that it helps me to deal with those emotions better.
Exactly.
If I understand that they're just fear. They're not what they are.
Exactly.
They're fear and attack.
So what if just for like a day, every time we felt anger, hostility, hatred, that we literally reframed it in our mind and went, whoa, I must be really afraid of love right now. Some part of me must have been perceiving love, and I'm really afraid. I'm terrified. I can feel the love pulling. I can feel love calling to me, or I can feel love coming close, and I must be afraid of love. Love must be close by. Love must be close by. Imagine if you reframed your anger or your hostility or hatred. For one day, you reframed it or interpreted it like that for a whole day. Because according to this, hostility is nothing but a cover for love. Wow. And so you could say my hostility is my call for love, or my hostility is my fear of the love that has come close. Or I can feel love around me, I can feel it calling me, pulling to me, and I'm afraid of it. And so I'm angry. If you reframed your hostility, your anger, your hatred like that for one day, your life would change. We are so duped. Our ego has totally duped us about anger and hostility, or it has duped us with our anger and our hatred. Wow. It says, oh, that's not a cover. That's a correct perception of reality. And it's true, when we're angry or full of hatred, we think we're perceiving most correctly. Wow, our ego has us duped. But we're reversing that.
I think it's convinced us that we are hate, that we're not love.
That's right.
We are all in touch with that side of ourselves, not the loving side.
Exactly.
We have to reframe how we see ourselves.
That's exactly right. So he says, I'm just going to reread that sentence. You've protected your hostility, your anger, because you don't want the anger healed, because you realize that by removing the anger that hides it. Your love for your Creator would impel you to answer love's call and leap into complete fulfillment. Wow. He says, you believe that attack is salvation or protection to prevent you from leaping into heaven, complete fulfillment. Wow. My anger prevents that. He says, for still deeper than your anger's foundation, and much stronger than your anger will ever be, is your intense and burning love of God and His for you. This is what you really want to hide. Wow. Who knew? Not me. That's obvious. Wow. Okay, whoa. What is my hostility hiding? What is deeper than the savage wish to kill that I hide it so well I don't even know it's there. I don't even know about that part of me that's suicidal and homicidal. I don't even know about that part of me. Okay? But what is beneath that is, he says, even deeper than that is my intense and burning love for God. That's what I really want to hide. Wow. What I really don't want y'all to know about is I have an intense and burning love for God. That's what I really don't want you to know about. That's what I really don't want me to know about. Because I'm afraid of that love. I'm afraid. Have you ever felt a love so strongly that you were afraid of it?
So do you think the deeper your hate or anger, the more you're afraid of love? I mean, isn't that a great answer to when they bring up Hitler? He had a deep love for God, you know.
That's exactly right.
Really?
If you were to put this on top of that story, the Hitler story, you would say, now here's somebody who was really afraid of how much he loved God.
It's true.
Okay, he's going to go on to talk about why it is that we're afraid of love. Why in the world would anybody be afraid of love? Why? Doesn't that seem insane? If you were to say about somebody, this person right here is terrified of love, and they would rather kill themselves than feel your love, what would you say about that person? You say, oh, that poor dear, they're mentally ill.
And can I say something?
Yes.
And he was, Hitler was suffering, because nobody was able to give him human love,
Right.
like he experienced with God. So it's why he was suffering. It's why everything started this way.
Exactly. And
That's all I need to say.
Exactly. And his story is our story,
Yes.
just seems to take a different form. Maybe he killed 6 million people.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to kill ourselves.
Actually, he didn't. It was
Right.
manipulation of him too. But yeah,
Right.
but we leave it alone.
So, same content, different form. Okay? Now, why in the world would we be afraid of love? Love that would absolutely end all pain, fear, loss, death itself. Why? He says, well, in honesty, he says, isn't it harder for you to say I love than I hate? You notice what happens when we say to somebody, I love you? We have to go to therapy the next day. I said, I love you. Isn't it easier to say I hate? God, I hate that. Oh, I hate when that happens. I hate that. I hate them. I hate that. But to say I love you, it's it takes so long. And then after you say it, then you go through all these oh my God, what does it mean? Does anybody recognize that? Takes months or years to say I love you. And then once we do, we're terrified. I can't believe I said I love you. Oh my God, I don't know what it means. Oh my God, I'm so afraid. I feel so confused. Right? Isn't it harder to say I love you than I hate? Okay. Do you say yes? Here's why. He says, you associate love with weakness and hatred with strength. That is for sure. We can all relate to that, right? We associate love with weakness and hatred with strength, and because of that, our own real power, love, seems to us as our own real weakness. He said, why is that? Why is it that our power, love, actually seems like our weakness? It's this: because you could not control your joyous response to the call of love if you heard it. Ew. That's why. That's why love seems like a weakness. The more I love you, the more weak I am. The more love I feel for you, the more vulnerable I am to you. Why is that? Because he says you cannot control your joyous response to love if you heard its call. If you really heard the call of love, that love is making to you. Love is the whole universe going, I love you, I want you, come to me. And if you heard that call, you could not control your joyous response to it. Just like when you hear and feel the call of love from others, you can't control your response. You can't control it. You can't control your own response. That's why you think you are weakened by it. Anybody relate to that? All right.
It's interesting that our hostility and all these things we do, our attacks are just a control mechanism.
That's right.
To keep us in charge and not jumping into
That's
them.
exactly right. I really don't want to feel love. I really don't want to feel love. I'm so afraid of feeling love for you, for me, for God, because I'm afraid that if I felt that feeling, that I couldn't control my response, couldn't control myself. And Lord knows what happened in the past when I couldn't control myself. Still in therapy over that. So it totally explains why we are afraid of love and how love seems like our weakness. Right? And so I'm going to control that. I'm not going to hear that call of love. I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to feel it. I'm not going to feel it. Okay? Not from you, not from God, not from myself. All right? Now he says, your own real power seems to you as your real weakness because you could not control your joyous response to the call of love if you heard it, and the whole world you think you control would vanish. Now, what does it say in your book? That sentence. My sentence is, the whole world you think you control would vanish.
The whole world you thought you made would vanish.
Uh-huh. Your book says the whole world you thought you made would vanish. Mine says the whole world you think you control would vanish.
Control and made are the same word.
Control and made are the same thing. Okay. If I felt the call of love that is universally, eternally being made to me by God, which is the universal love, I wouldn't be able to control my response, and the whole world that I think I do control, would vanish. Wow, interesting. So I make a world that I think I can control because I'm afraid of my loss of control. I'm so afraid of my loss of control. So I make a world where I'm like, I control this. I do. I know what's going to happen tomorrow. I know what my mate's going to do. I know what's going to happen on my job because I control it. And I think I control it. And then when my world breaks my control, then I have a nervous breakdown. Because, oh my God, maybe I don't control it. I've been trying to control it, and I think that my safety comes from controlling my world. I control my job, I control my mate, I control myself, I control the world, and I think that's what makes me safe. and I control myself from you, and I control myself from loving you so much that I would be swept away from myself, and that makes me safe. And so I don't want to feel God's love because it would break my control. And I believe my control makes me safe. Now, has my control made me safe?
No.
Hell no. I feel anxious all the time. Scared all the time. Scared every day. Oh my God, what's going to happen today? What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen when I get older? What's going to happen to my child? What's going to happen to my body? What's going to happen to my relationship? What's going to happen to my money? Okay, so my illusion of control has not made me feel safe. Wow. All right. But have a nice day.
But I still trust that more than anybody else's.
That's exactly right.
I mean, that's what it's all about. I only trust myself
Right.
to set up this.
Exactly. I'm trying to control, but I can't control, and the things in my life break my control. And then I have a nervous breakdown of anxiety because the things in my life actually break my sense of control. They don't go as I plan. I have a nervous breakdown, scared all the time. But still, that is better than God. Anything but God. I don't care if I live in a hell of anxiety every day. It's still better than God. It's still better than the love of God. Wow. That's how insane we are. It's a good thing we're cute. All right.
That does kind of explain our fear, though, doesn't it?
It's a good thing we're nice people. I may be insane, but I'm a nice person. All right. He says, okay, so I'm afraid of the love of God because I think it would break my control, and then my illusion of control would vanish, and the world that I think I control would vanish if I literally felt, if I answered the call of love that's being called and offered to me all the time. He says, and that's why the Holy Spirit, that's why love, that's why truth, and that's why A Course in Miracles then seems to be attacking your fortress. Why is it that A Course in Miracles, why is it that people's love seems to be attacking my fortress? Why is it that when people say, I love you, I get scared and want to run away from them and protect myself from them? Why is that? Why is it that the truth and why God seems to be attacking my fortress? Why is it I'm afraid of God or truth or Course in Miracles? Because you want to shut God out and He doesn't want to be shut out. That's why God seems to be attacking you. That's why truth seems to be attacking.
It debunks all your projections.
Exactly. It totally debunks all your projections. I am trying to shut God out because God is love. God is love. Wow. That's why. You ever wonder why it is that a part of you has a resistance to A Course in Miracles? All it does is say you're innocent, you're free, you're sinless, you're blameless. Now, why is it that we have a resistance to something that says that to us over and over? You ever wondered? No. No, I never think about it. I just don't pick it up. I don't pick it up not because I have resistance to it. I don't know. I'm busy. The reason that A Course in Miracles seems to, we are resistant to A Course in Miracles and any truth is because it seems to be attacking our fortress. It attacks our fortress. What fortress? Hey, attack makes me safe. Attack makes me safe. When I love you, I am more vulnerable. When I feel your love, I am vulnerable. And so love attacks my fortress. So anything that tells me that I should let you love me, or that I should love you, is attacking my fortress. Wow. I'm trying to shut love out. And so anything that speaks of love seems to be attacking what makes me safe. A fortress, what makes me safe. Wow.
And our ultimate fortress is our thoughts, aren't they?
That's right.
That's why we don't want to admit our fear of the Course, because it will change your thoughts.
That's right.
And you learn that real quick.
That's right. And my fortress is my hostility.
What'd he say?
Say that again, Jim?
Front row. What'd he say?
Well, at the base of our fortress, that governs what we do and say and all that is our thoughts.
Yeah.
And the Course changes your thoughts. It hits you with the truth that you can't deny anymore. And so, yeah, you build up a resistance to it.
Right.
You love it and you hate it simultaneously.
How deep to think that all of our anger and hostility and hatred is a resistance to love. It's a reaction to love. It's an attempt to run away from love. Wow, it doesn't seem like that at all. Wow, remember, hostility is a cover. Anger is a cover. My hatred for myself is a cover. You know, God is like, I love you. I love you. I've always loved you. I will always love you. I give you nothing but love. My love supplies everything for you. And I am afraid of that, because if I say yes to that, then guess what? I'm not even going to want my world anymore. I'm not going to want it. Who gives a damn about all the silly little vain temporary things that break in the world that you couldn't control anyway? Who gives a damn about them when you could have the full eternal love of the universe that supplies everything? Right? And that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that I'm just going to be like, whew, I'm going to give my world away. I'm afraid the whole world I think I control would vanish. He says, so then he says in next paragraph, he says, you have built your whole insane belief system because you think you would be helpless in God's presence. And you would save yourself from God's love. Why? Because you think God's love would crush you into nothingness. We could say the same thing about other people. I'm afraid of loving other people, and I'm afraid of their love because I'm afraid that their love would crush me into nothingness. Another way of saying that is, I'm afraid of God's love. I'm afraid of love because I am afraid that love would sweep me away from myself and make me little. Wow. I'm afraid of that loss of control. I'm afraid of a love that would compel me to throw everything away and rush into it. I'm afraid of a love, I'm afraid of feeling a love that would impel me to throw everything but it away. Wow. And that's why I'm afraid of God, and that's why I'm afraid of truth, and that's why I'm afraid of people, and that's why I'm afraid of the Course. Wow. That pretty much explains it, huh? I'm afraid that love would sweep me away from myself and make me little. Why is that? That's because I believe that magnitude lies in defiance. And I believe that attack is grandeur. See, you think you've made a world which God would destroy, and you think by loving God, which you do, you would throw this world away, which you would.
Oh, that's good.
Wow. And he says, therefore, you have used the world to cover your love. Ha ha. And the deeper you go into the blackness of your ego's foundation, the closer you come to the love that is hidden there. What's my ego hiding? Love. And so the deeper I go into my ego's what? My ego's hatred. You know, what is the ego? It's hatred. Okay? So you start at the top of the ego, and this is like, I'm just irritated. I'm just annoyed. I don't hate anybody. I'm just so annoyed. And even though I talk about people all the time, and I judge people all the time. I'm still a good person. I don't hate anybody. Hate is bad. Okay, that's the most superficial levels of our ego. Now, as you progress down, and meaning could become more honest, you progress down. What are you progressing down through? Deeper and deeper layers of hatred. Oh my God! I have hatred and hostility in me. Okay, that's kind of dark. Ew, I don't want to look at that. Oh, and then you go down deeper, and when you get all the way down to the cornerstone of your ego's foundation, it's not just irritation, hostility, hatred. It's I want to kill. There's a savage wish to kill. So the closer you come to a part of you that has a savage wish to kill, the closer you come to the love that is hidden there. Wow. So if you have come upon that part of you that would like to kill you, and maybe take a few other people with you, you know who. Don't freak out. Just know that you must be getting close to the love that's hidden there. Wow. You know, the Course says that many people have died upon seeing this. Many people have died before they found the love, that self-hatred, that savage wish to kill their own selves was hiding. He says, but so keep on going. All right, he says,
Anna,
yes.
doesn't this kind of like explain all these shootings?
Indeed.
Doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Absolutely. Yeah, those sometimes when you're aware and when you've allowed the truth to guide your awareness, remember he says it is crucial that you look upon your hostility and realize its full extent. That's what he's saying here. It's crucial that you understand what your ego is about, what it is, and what it's about, and what it's for, and what it wants to do to you. Okay? He says, you countenance your ego. You make your ego a friend. Your ego speaks to you and you go, yeah, that's right? You countenance your ego because you don't know who it is and what it's about. You don't realize that what it's really hiding, what it's really about is a savage wish to kill the Son of God. But if you don't know it, then when the ego speaks, you're like, that's right. And you listen and you follow its guidance. That's why he says it's crucial that you look at it and you go, oh, at the core of this thought system, this insane belief system, is a savage wish to kill the Son of God, which is me, which is you and everyone. Because if you don't look at it, and if you don't look at it all the way to its deepest, darkest cornerstone, then you will continue to listen to it, and then it will seem to do you in. Now, yeah, you'll come back. You know, it will kill you, and then only for you to realize, oh, can't die. Okay. So it's crucial for you to look at your ego's hostility, look at it all the way to the bottom, so that you can look beneath it to find and experience the love that's in there. Because the love that is underneath that savage wish to kill the Son of God is the love that is your home, your heaven, and the love that will fulfill every single need, want, desire that you have and enable you to feel complete for the first time in your memory. And you would experience heaven. That's heaven. That's why it's crucial.
This helped me a lot because I'll go so far in the Course. Let's just say I'll read a paragraph.
Okay.
And then I get pissed off and throw it in the back seat. Okay?
Yes.
So this kind of says what that's doing.
Oh, yeah, why you threw it in the back seat?
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, and then I'll let a couple of days go by and I'll give me the damn thing again, and I'll start to read
Right,
again, and I'll read
exactly.
a little bit, and then.
Yes, and isn't it also really nice to hear that when somebody is attacking you, or angry with you, or hostile with you, that the reason is because they're trying to cover their love for you.
Yeah, that's good.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Now that's a
That's
really
good.
nice way to reinterpret their hostility toward you. Right.
Yeah.
You know, oh God, that person must really love me.
Yeah. They really love me.
They love me so much their ego would like to get rid of me. Their ego loves me so much that their ego feels profoundly threatened and is now trying to get rid of me. And so instead of being like, F you too, we can turn to them and go, my dear, oh dear, you know, and give them compassion and give them love, even while you're letting them be somewhere else.
So
Maybe
the
my
only
love will
reason
far.
it's just crucial to look at this, that really doesn't matter. It's just that that's what we've covered up our love with. And he's
Yes.
trying to get you to get in touch with your love. But
Yes.
since that's where you put it, at the bottom of all this other
Yes.
stuff, that's the only way to get there.
Exactly. Where the love that will save us and liberate us and meet our every need is, da-da-da, drum roll please, where the love that will meet all of our needs and sustain us is underneath your hostility. So anything that helps you to get honest about your hostility, your angry thoughts about yourself or others, to get honest about them so that you can look at them, is something that is going to help you to find the love
So what's an example
of that.
Yeah.
Well, next time you notice yourself feeling angry, you know, take a look at it. Take a look at it. Don't put it off. Don't distract yourself from it. Don't project it. And take a look at it and go, okay, let's see. Okay, I think I'm angry because they didn't show up on time. Then I'm pretty angry. And I'm pretty sure that's why I'm angry. But the Course said hostility is a cover for love. And so, okay, so according to the Course, I must have been feeling my love for this person so strongly that I became afraid of losing control. And so I'm using anger to control myself so that I don't feel weak in the presence of my love. And then, so that is taking a look at your hostility. He says it's crucial that you look at your hostility and realize its full extent.
Or that hostility is about something from the past.
Right.
Not necessarily what's right.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then, if you want to go even deeper, then you remember what the truth told you, that hot anger is a cover for you answering or feeling the love of God, which is the love of the universe. And so you could go, okay, I must be trying to cover the love that's all around me and calling me and offering itself to me. Okay. And then the Course says this: if the whole purpose of anger or attack is to cover love, if you will recognize in anger or attack the call of love, then you totally undo the need for the defense. You undo fear. You undo the attack. I'm going to say that again. If fear or attack is a cover for love, and so you see in that attack or anger the call of love, and you answer the love, then what happens to the fear, the anger, or the attack? When a defense doesn't work, what happens to it?
It goes away.
And so the Course is saying, every time you experience anger, hatred, hostility, fear, what you're supposed to do is see through the cover. See through the cover and go, this is a call for love. This is love calling me. This is a call for my love. This is love calling me. This is my fear of love. This is me sensing love and becoming afraid. Now, if I did that, then the defense of attack and anger would be gone. And then I would experience the love.
And then you find God.
And then you would remember God. The memory of God would rise again across the threshold of your mind. The memory of God. It's the same as saying the memory of the love that is the universe that is calling you back to itself so that it can sweep all fear, pain, and lack from your mind.
So this anger of mine would be, that's my call for love, correct?
That's right. It's your call for love, and it's love calling
So
you.
what's really happened when they were late, I was afraid that they didn't really care much about me.
Exactly.
And so that's all that's going on. really.
Exactly. When they are late and I'm angry, my ego's telling me that they don't love me. And my ego then tells me, well, if you didn't love them so much, you wouldn't be hurting like this. You wouldn't need them to constantly show they love you. And so your love for them makes you weak. So get rid of them or defend against them.
Attack.
Sabotage, attack, right? I mean, I can relate. Haven't we all experienced that before where you felt a love so strongly for somebody that you became terrified? You were like, holy, whoa, slow down. And then we start sabotaging because we are afraid that if we feel the love fully, we will lose our ability to control our joyous response, and we would leap into it, and then we would give up everything that we have used to exercise control over our world.
What's the response when you know someone outside of you is doing that exact thing?
To you,
Yeah.
to recognize what it is and recognize what's happening. See it as fear of love. See it as a call for love. And in your heart, give them that love. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to run them down and go, don't be afraid of my love. Don't run them down with the car. You're just afraid of my love. Get over here. I'm going to give you my love. Right? We just recognize, love just sees through the illusion and offers the love that they're really calling for. And love is not something you say or do. Don't forget that. Love is not an action. It is not words. It is not something you say or do. It's you remembering the truth for them. Seeing through their fear of your love. Seeing through the ways they cover their love for you. Okay?
It's not something we can really do. It says a couple paragraphs down that you got to give it to the Holy Spirit.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly what it says.
I can't heal myself with this.
That's exactly right.
All I can do is say, this is where I am and I need your help.
Exactly. Thank you. And that is what he said, in the next paragraph he says, when you see your anger, when you see your hatred, Holy Spirit says, give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Right? So it also says, you need to, what does he say in that first sentence? First sentence. It is so crucial that you look upon your hatred and realize its full extent. So that's part of it too. That you look at it instead of run away from it, instead of cover it, instead of hide it, instead of project it. Look at it. Okay? And then apply what the truth told you about it. Remember what the truth told you about what it is and what it means. Okay, and then give it over. The Holy Spirit, here's my fear of love. You said give it to you, here it is.
You always have to give it over.
Yeah, I mean, that's the formula.
Yeah, okay.
Because you don't know how to correct it yourself. Okay?
Seemingly though, most times you recognize something, that's all it takes, but that's because you're actually, by recognizing it, you're surrendering it.
That's exactly right. Even to have recognized it for what it is, you had to have allowed Holy Spirit's perception to come in, which is the truth. The truth is love's perception. This is love's perception. This is how the mind of love thinks, So, let's stop here for this evening. We may pick back up on that next week. It's such a powerful section. Would y'all like to keep going with this next week? It's a great, great, great section. It's slightly practical, so it wouldn't hurt anything to finish it next week. So while you are doing your love offerings, I'm just going to make a couple of announcements, and then we're going to do our integration meditation. Okay, announcements. On the table are some Course in Miracles recordings. I read the course, and I'm reading the original edition onto CDs with music. It's just me reading. They're very helpful sanity aids. Okay? When you cannot think the truth for yourself, when you can't bring yourself to open up the course book, when you can't bring yourself to pick up the phone and call someone to tell you the truth, these are nice to pop into your CD player and just let it think for you. Okay? Let it remind you of the truth. They're $10 each. If you want one, put the money for it in that basket right there, not in the basket that's going around. All my classes are on YouTube. You can watch them for free. You just put in my name in YouTube, and then you can watch them for free, or send them to somebody you think might enjoy them. If you want more information on my holistic counseling practice, then just go to Kujawa.com. There's my website, and you can learn more about my holistic counseling practice, where I'm integrating these ideas with traditional psychotherapy and more things. Okay? So if you know of anybody who needs something like that, send them to my website. I really appreciate y'all's love offering very, very much. Very much. And I think that's it. All right. So, just for about 2 minutes, we're going to allow these ideas to sink deeper into our awareness. We're going to use the ideas. So, close your eyes and just bring your attention within. Don't be afraid to look within. Bring your attention inward. Now I want you to tune in to how it feels and how it feels to hear these ideas tonight. How does it feel to hear these ideas? Take note how the truth feels in your body, in your mind, in your emotional body. Beautiful. Now I want you to bring to your awareness a situation in the last few days, or a pattern situation. I want you to bring a situation into your awareness where you have experienced hostility, or anger, or attack, whatever you want to call it. A situation or a relationship, same thing, where you experienced hostility, whether it was anger toward yourself, hostility toward another. Now, taking note of this situation or relationship, I want you to take note of how those feelings of anger or hostility felt? What did you notice? What did you notice in your body and in your mind when you felt those feelings? Beautiful. And now I want you in your mind's eye to step back a pace from this situation or relationship where you experienced this hostility. And just step back a pace, looking at the situation from a step back. And I want you to tell yourself, this hostility, this anger, is a cover for my love. This is a cover for my intense and burning love for God. Even if you don't believe that's true, just tell yourself something different about your anger, your hostility. I am using this anger at fill in the blank to hide my love for God and His for me. I'm afraid of feeling the love of the universe. I'm afraid of feeling my love for God. Tell yourself the truth, even if you don't believe it. Tell yourself, I am angry right now. I'm angry in this situation because I'm afraid of love. I'm afraid if I fully loved in this situation right now, I would lose control. Then I want you to tell yourself, it is not control that makes me safe. And I want you to tell yourself, in this situation, it is safe to love. Love is my safety. And then make the decision to accept the love of God or the love of yourself or this person instead of your hostility, instead of your anger. I choose the love of God in place of my anger toward this person or myself. God, in place of my anger, I would feel my intense and burning love for you, which I'm trying to hide and control right now. God, I would feel your love instead of this. And then just breathe. Breathe that in. Letting that feeling and that experience of choosing the love of God in place of the anger. Let that feeling sink deep within. Let it heal your body. Let it rewire your brain. And I want you to tell yourself, love is safe. Love is safe. Love is my safety. Beautiful. And then just take a deep breath on that and bring your awareness back to the room and back to your body. Take a breath. Awesome. Yay.
Thank you, Anna.
Y'all. Yay, God. Give it up for yourselves.